War after war after war. Why did it begin in the first place? When is it going to end? We often think of war as being out there, on borders, in the news, or in history books. But the reality is, war is a toxin, a disease, a plague that causes so much pain and suffering. Suffering that causes trauma, and trauma that we hold on to. When a person experiences the horror of war, ballistic missiles, drones, artillery fire, and constant bombardment, the body enters a state of pure survival. But the most enduring battlefield isn't out there on the map, it's the one within. Trauma passes down from generation to generation, keeping many stuck in this perpetual cycle of suffering. It's a weight carried by people who never actually fought in those wars. So how do we explain the phantom, the ghost, the shadow of pain? The truth is, you are paying a biological debt for a war that you never signed up for. Our bodies do not experience history, they archive it. Inside your cells, there is a biological record keeper, an archive of traumatic events that feels more like a haunting. We call it epigenetics. When the sirens ring in Tehran or the ground shakes in Gaza, your central nervous system takes over. At the center of your command center is the amygdala, an ancient alarm system that evolved over millions of years. When it senses a threat, it signals to the HPA axis, a high-speed chemical relay between your brain and your adrenal glands, sending waves of cortisol and adrenaline flooding every cell of your body. It's a hijack, a hostile takeover, bypassing the logical part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. This makes you react instantly, and it's why you can't think your way out of a panic attack. You can't reason with a body that is convinced a missile is about to strike, even when the sky is clear. In a healthy environment, the alarm turns off, it is muted. But in persistent war, this axis becomes chronically dysregulated. The feedback loop breaks. This leads to hyperarousal, a state where the nervous system is stuck on high alert, scanning for threats, even in total silence. When the system is overwhelmed for too long, it may trigger dissociation, detachment of the mind to survive the unbearable. This is the hallmark of complex traumatic stress disorder, where the trauma isn't a single past event, but the very atmosphere you live in. Evolution doesn't care about your happiness, it cares about survival. It would rather you be hypervigilant and alive than relaxed and dead. Now this is where the story enters our DNA. Think of your DNA as a library, a collection of every instruction needed for your very existence. Epigenetics is a set of bookmarks telling the body which pages to read and which to skip. In war, the body starts making the pages of survival. When a parent survives bombardment, the body adds chemical tags, methyl groups, to specific genes responsible for building the receptors that tell your body to stop producing stress hormones. When this gene is muted, the receptors go missing and the biological off switch for stress is effectively jammed. This is the cycle we see in the children of Holocaust survivors and those living through the current conflict in the Middle East. This intergenerational transmission means a child is born with their stress response already preset to a world of danger. They inherit the biological memory of a threat they never witnessed, a threat they never saw that haunts them like a ghost of the past. The remnants of war live longer than the war itself. This creates a heightened allostatic load, the cumulative wear and tear on the body. It is the ultimate evolutionary paradox. The biological armor that helped your ancestors survive a revolution becomes a chronic illness for you. It manifests as depression, anxiety, and autoimmune diseases. We look in the mirror and see the stress of our forefathers. This has profound psychological impacts, narrowing our window of tolerance. The smallest friction triggers either rage and panic or shutdown and numbness. It feels like trying to heal yourself with a knife still inside. It's heavy, it's bleak, and it bleeds. For many of us, it feels like an escapable trap, but biology provides a path forward, an answer, a solution, a route to safety. We cannot simply think the amygdala into submission, we have to soothe it from the bottom up. The cycle of war ends not when treaties are signed, but when we soothe the fire burning inside. We are not the victims of our history, we are the riders of our destiny. Your body remembers the war, but we are not prisoners of war. We can finally close the archives of the past by beginning to write a new story. While war creates the draft, time and healing have the final word. One that is ours, one that is quiet, and one that is finally at peace.